Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to episode number 96 of Driftless Knitting. My name is Jennifer. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Driftless Knitter, and you can find the podcast on Ravelry if you search for Driftless Knitting under the Groups tab. I want to address really quick the issues that have been going on with Ravelry. A lot of people have been having problems with the new layout or the new graphic design that Ravelry has implemented. It's causing a lot of migraines, headaches, even seizures in some cases. There was a few elements of animation and I don't even know how to describe it on like the homepage, and when you would log in, they have since taken that off, but they haven't changed the color scheme, which is the other thing that has been causing issues. The bright white contrasted with some of the like borders on the pictures and things have been really causing people vertigo and a lot of weird things. So I'm really hoping that they address that and that they actually change it. I know that they have technically addressed it, but I think they're being a little hesitant for some reason to actually fix those things, which seems really silly to me because there are a lot of people who use that website, and I think a lot of people are starting to look for different avenues to sell their patterns or buy knitting patterns, which I will mention that I do have several quite a few knitting patterns on Ravelry under Driftless Knitter, but I also am starting to put my downloadable patterns on knitcircus.com. I do work for Knit Circus, but this is an offer that is going out to lots of different any designer. If you are a designer and you would like to put your patterns on a website other than Ravelry, but you can't afford to, or you just don't have the means right now to create your own website, then email us at Knit Circus, and we are putting people's designs and patterns on our site free of charge for the designer, and we just kind of bump the pattern up by a few cents to cover the cost of listing the pattern and our own like URL. I don't even know what to call it. Like, it's not subscription, but we own the website. You know, we pay to own the website. So my patterns will be up there. I have 3 up right now, 3 of my sock patterns, and hopefully soon I will have the rest of them up there. But yeah, if you are a small indie designer and you don't have your own website and you want to offer people an alternative to Ravelry, go to our website and click the contact us, get in touch with us, and we will give you information on that. So yeah, that's the first thing I wanted to say. You can find me on Ravelry, but if you're not able to, I totally understand, and I'm sorry about that. And you can find me on Instagram and, well, YouTube. You found me here, so. But anyway, it is Friday, July 3rd. It's about 4:30 in the afternoon. I just got done working. I am working from home these days. I have been since March. It's almost been has it almost been 4 months since I've been working from home? Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But yeah, we're just trying to stay safe. I am expecting my first baby. We are about 30 weeks along, so it's about 7 months and then some. So we're due in September with a baby boy. So I'm really trying to kind of stay clear of interactions that I don't have to have. Really just don't want to get sick and risk any sort of complications. So anyway, we're being really safe, even though our state is starting to open more things up. Our cases are kind of starting to rise again, and yeah, don't want to risk anything. So I am just home. I think we're gonna head to my in-laws soon. They are a couple of the people in our sort of inner circle, though we are still very careful and cautious, even being around them. But yeah, Seaver, my husband, is taking a nap right now. He had a big day actually of building lots of furniture for the nursery. And yeah, it's one of the hottest days so far this year. It's about 90, 91, 92 degrees outside where we are in Wisconsin, and it's about 60% humidity. Yeah, which is not always pleasant. It makes it feel a lot hotter. So it probably feels about 95, 96 degrees. Thankfully we have air conditioning, although I turned our unit off to record this because it's so loud. So it'll probably get a little warm in here. So if I start to glisten a little bit, you know why. Even though it is warm, I am drinking a little bit of coffee. This is leftover from this morning. I only usually drink about 1 mug a day, just because I don't want to overdo it with the caffeine. But this is in a handmade mug that I got recently when we did a little sort of, wasn't a staycation. We drove a few hours north just to kind of do some hiking and stuff like that. And we stopped by this pottery studio, which was so cool. It was on the edge of Bayfield, Wisconsin, which is way, way up north by the Apostle Islands. On which Great Lake is that? Superior. Yeah, I don't know why that, yeah, I forgot that for a second, but it's on Lake Superior. We stopped by the studio and we each bought a mug, and I absolutely love this mug. I love the color, I love the shape. It's just so like whimsical and makes me so happy. And it reminds me of that trip. We had planned on doing a bigger like baby moon type thing to go out east to see one of my best friends who lives in DC, or just outside DC, and we were gonna go to the coast, but we had to cancel that back in April. We were supposed to go in April into May, like the end of April, and we had to cancel that. So yeah, last month, yeah, about a month ago, we decided to just do a little bit of kind of a staycation type thing. So anyway, I've got a little bit of coffee left in here, so I'll take a sip of that and we can get started talking about knitting. That was kind of a long intro and I apologize, but there's a lot to fill you in, a lot to talk about. So all right, I guess I'll talk about finished objects. I have a couple finished objects. One of them is very small. One of them is a little bit bigger. Let's start with this first. This actually kind of is both a finished object and a work in progress in a way, which is, yeah, confusing. But I talked last time about these pillows that I'm making for my friend Ashley. And I got a lot of work done on them. I don't know how much I had done last time, but I'm pretty sure that I think I had maybe started the second one. Yeah, I know for sure I'd started the second one. But I have one piece, two pieces, and the third piece started. So this is a project I'm doing for her. She asked me a long time ago to knit these for her, and it's taken me a really long time to get them done. But I am happy to say I'm very close to being done, and I would have had it done already if I hadn't run out of yarn. So I have literally this much yarn left. That's not gonna get me the whole back of the pillow done. So I had to order this online just to get the right color number and everything like that. This is a Premier yarn, and it's called Everyday. This one says it's Deborah Norville Everyday, but online it didn't have the Deborah Norville, so I don't know if she just put her face on it for a little while and then, I don't know. But anyway, it's an anti-pilling yarn. It's 100% acrylic, worsted weight. There's 203 yards per 100 gram. Yeah, machine washable. This is what the tag I have looks like. And the color is Twilight Blue. So Ashley is the one who picked out the yarn and sent it to me. And the pattern does say that you only need like 3 100 gram balls. And I don't know if the yardage was a little bit different. I thought I had checked all of that at the beginning, but also my gauge might be a little bit bigger. I don't know. I did not check my gauge when I started. I know, terrible. But let me show you the pattern. It is in the Knitting at Home book, which is, I think, is that an Ella Rae? Yeah, Ella Rae. I couldn't read it backwards. I had to turn it. This is the first book I ever bought. It has some lovely patterns in it that are just like, and I used to just scroll, when I first started knitting, really getting into knitting, I already worked at a yarn store, and that's where I bought this book. And I just loved just paging through and looking at these pictures because it made me think, it just relaxed me, and it made me think of like this cozy home full of hand knits that I was gonna have someday. And I still love looking through this book. It's so beautiful. But anyway, they have a selection of pillows, and the one I'm doing is this one down here. It's a moss stitch, and you can kind of see the texture there, but they have some other really beautiful ones as well. Yeah, maybe I'll just show you a couple of the photos. Don't want to show you too much of the patterns, of course, but here you go. Here's another picture. I think just the color scheme and the big photos of all these just beautiful knits just really appealed to me. So that's the top one I'm doing. And I'm actually kind of considering someday, not right now, I have too many knitting projects, but maybe someday I would do a couple for our couch. I think, I don't know, I love the idea of having blankets and pillows and beautiful knitted things just scattered around your house. So anyway, this has been a book I've had for, gosh, 10 years now, since I got back into knitting. And it still holds up, I feel like. I know there's a couple patterns in here that some friends of mine have done that have been a little confusing, maybe not written 100% like well, but those were the garments. There's a few garments in here, like there's a house coat and some other stuff, but I don't know if I would knit those things. I think I would knit mostly like the decor, the home decor in this book. But anyway, so I am happy to say that the first pillow is done and sewn together. So this was a big project I did a couple of weeks ago. I was knitting my fingers off trying to get through, you know, the pieces for the second pillow, and I just decided to get out the pieces for the first one that I had already finished knitting and get them sewn together. So the pillow itself is a little lumpy. She also sent me these. It kind of, I don't know, maybe once you use it a little bit more, it'll kind of flatten out a little bit, but one side is like, I don't know, it's like flat. The other side, I don't know, but it looks really nice. It looks really pretty. And the buttons, she sent those as well. So I'm really proud that I got this all mattress seam together. It's a lot of seaming, you guys. That was a lot of seaming. It took me, I want to say probably 2 to 3 full hours to seam this whole pillow together, because you're doing both sides. You're doing the side seams, and then you're doing, you know, you're doing the long side seams, and then you're doing these shorter ones, and you're overlapping. These are kind of overlapped so that you don't have to secure, like, sew it closed. So she can take this off and wash the cover or change out the pillow, or whatever she wants to do. But yeah, but it's pretty secure because you seam them to overlap each other for like that amount right there. But anyway, I was watching New Girl, reruns obviously of New Girl on Netflix while I was doing that. It got me through. And it was kind of like, it was a weekend that Seaver was at his parents' farm, and I chose to stay home just to get some things done. And I was kind of staying up a little bit later than normal. I was watching Netflix, and I was just like getting through that seaming. It just felt so good. So anyway, once I get the yarn for the second one to finish that, I'm really hoping that it just flies off the needle. If I just sit and do it, like, it knits up really fast. With worsted weight, even with it being seed stitch, I can actually knit seed stitch and ribbing pretty fast. The way I do my purling isn't too different from the way I do my knitting, so I can like flip the yarn back and forth pretty well. But yeah, I just want to get it done. I just want to get it done, sent off to her, finished, out of the way. Yeah, so that was a big accomplishment in the last couple of weeks. The other thing that I knit that I finished really recently is a much smaller accomplishment, but probably a lot cuter. This is a little baby hat that I knit. This is, I haven't blocked it yet. It's gonna stretch out because of the cables. I can feel there's a lot of give in there. I do kind of wish I had made it a little bit deeper, but that's okay. It's not gonna fit the baby for very long. I know that they grow so fast, and babies' heads are actually much bigger than you'd think. So yeah, this might fit him like when he comes home from the hospital. But anyway, I knit this out of Debbie Bliss Cashmerino, which is a cashmere merino wool. Is there nylon in it? I don't know if there is. There might be a little nylon. I have the yarn in the other room. I was just too lazy to grab it, so I apologize. But I decided I wanted to knit something. I wanted to come up with a fun cable pattern to use. It just kind of is like quirky and unique with that little bit of like a kind of a diamond cable. I really like it. It took me a couple of times. I had to cast this on a few times because I didn't use a pattern for this. This was one of my own that I thought up, but the first time I cast on for this, I had way too few stitches. It was tiny. It was probably like from here to here. And I knew that just wasn't gonna work. The second time I cast it on, there was way too many stitches, and it looked like it would fit a toddler, which is great. And you know, eventually I'm gonna have to knit a bigger size hat, but not what I really wanted for this. So then I cast on again, and I actually, this time I sort of looked at an existing pattern to sort of, I mean, it had to work with my like cable chart, but I looked at an existing pattern and just to see if I was kind of close to being on track with the number of stitches, which is probably what I should have done in the beginning, and like done my gauge and multiplied how many inches and the average size of a infant head, and I should have done all that, but I just didn't. So, but it was what they had in their pattern for a baby, like infant size, was just about maybe like 2 or 3 stitches off what I was gonna do. So I figured that would work, and I think it did. Super, super, super cute. So once it gets blocked, there is gonna be a little bit of give. Those cables are gonna sit really nice. But I'm hoping to get this written up. I wanna, I have the cable chart saved on my computer, but I need to write out how I did the decreases. I wanted the cables to kind of stay intact as you went up, which I think looks really nice. And I also think I could potentially make this for an infant size, and then I have the stitch count for like child size and maybe even adult. So we'll see. I might knit up a couple more, mess with the decreases a little bit, make sure I don't think I like fudged anything. Sometimes that's what happens when you're just knitting your own thing. You're like, I don't care, no one's gonna know. But when you're writing up a pattern, it has to make sense. People have to be able to duplicate it. So, but I think what I did with this one will work for pretty much everybody. So yeah, that was a fun little project that I finished a couple nights ago, I think. I started it last week sometime, and then of course with the ripping out, it took a little bit longer than anticipated, but I'm happy with it now. Okay, so the next thing I'll show you is a work in progress, but also kind of a half finished type thing. This is in my Pointel Designs project bag. Laura is the name of the owner of Pointel Designs, and she is local to Madison. We had a trunk show with her at Knit Circus a little while ago, and she sells her things at a lot of craft fairs and markets. She must have a website, I'm thinking, but she doesn't sell. We were gonna get her bags in like wholesale or consignment, but she wasn't able. She was not sure if she could handle having a wholesale account as well as doing like shows and stuff. So so yeah, if you are local and you come across Laura's stuff, her bags are really, really good quality. And I have so enjoyed having this as a project bag this spring. You guys will have seen this bag in the past because I was knitting some baby stuff, and yep, still knitting some baby stuff. So I decided to cast on another pair of baby socks. These are a little bit different than the ones I've done in the past. I wanted to knit some of a little bit bigger size because the infant or the newborn socks that I was knitting are really great, but I'm only going to be able to use them for a very limited amount of time, and I've knit 3 pairs of those. And then I thought, you know, I'm gonna bump it up a little bit and maybe knit some like 3 to 6 month size. So this, you can see I used ribbing on the leg and the top of the foot. Yep, there you go, you can see that now. So it is very stretchy. I haven't blocked this yet either, so there is some give. And in the past I was using Tabitha Gandy's Perfect Newborn Socks, I think it's what it's called. It's her only newborn sock. If you look up her name, you'll find it. And I really, really like knitting that, but she doesn't have an option for bigger sizes. So I went online. I was thinking, you know, I could probably just guess. I could knit a sock. I know how to knit socks. I've knit socks, like, knit a lot of socks. But I didn't know on stitch count how much I should do. And I just wanted a reference. So I found a baby sock pattern by the Knitting Expat. I forget her name. I don't know why that's slipping my mind. Oh my gosh. Anyway, Knitting Expat, you probably have heard of her. She has so many beautiful sock patterns, such a prolific knitter and designer, and she had this baby sock pattern which had multiple sizes. So this was the second size in, which was kind of like the, I think it was like a 3 to 6 month or 3 to 5 month size. And I cast on the number of stitches, which was 32, and did the ribbing. I decided to do the full leg in ribbing 2x2. And then after I cast on the stitches, I didn't really look at the pattern anymore. I did a fish lips kiss heel, which you can do with any amount of stitches. So that one I just have memorized, I know by heart, so I just use that instead of a heel flapping gusset, or I think she does a German short row heel, garter German short row heel. And this one I can just whip out, like it was so fast. And just thinking about doing those tiny little heel flaps and gussets on like the last pairs of socks I did, I'm like, why did I subject myself to that? I know that many people love a heel flap and gusset, but this goes so much quicker. And for me personally, it's what fits my foot best, is the fish lips kiss heel. Obviously, I don't know what's gonna fit his foot the best because he's not here yet, but a baby, I mean, he doesn't need to walk in these. He's not gonna be probably putting them into shoes very often, so it doesn't really matter as long as it goes on his foot. So there's the little mini fish lips kiss heel. And then I decided to do the ribbing up the foot like I showed you before, just because I think it's gonna stay on a little bit better if it's like nice and snug. And then I did reference the Knitting Expat pattern one more time when I was wondering how long to knit the foot. Again, I've never had a baby. I have interacted a lot with babies, but I don't know how long their feet are. So yeah, so I looked at her measurements and then started decreasing for the toe, and then I just did like a kind of a normal rounded toe and Kitchenered it. I think I decreased a little bit more than she did. I wanted a little bit of a smaller toe, not so rounded, but I think it turned out good. So I'm gonna do the second one the same. I already cast on, and I am knitting these on US size 1. I'm using some leftover yarn. Here's how much I have left. I have quite a bit left, so I'll have enough, definitely, probably extra. And this is a Pagewood Farms BFL, I wanna say, sock yarn, superwash. I knit my fairy tree socks out of this, which is one of my patterns. So yeah, this is the color Ireland, which was perfect for the fairy tree socks because that's what inspired them. And yeah, so he'll have a little pair of green socks. I have some other yarns in here that I want to do some socks with. I have, this is the Boat Houses. It was a limited edition yarn, hand dyed by a friend of mine and a local knitter. Oof. Sorry, baby's moving a lot right now. I was ignoring it for a while, but whew, that was a big one. So I got some fun teals and reds. I used this in my Find Your Fade. And there's a square of it. I don't think you can see it, but a square of it in my blanket. And I still had quite a bit left. I think I sent some to a friend for one of her scrappy blankets, and then I have enough left over to do a pair of socks for the baby. Oh, I forgot to say this was hand dyed for Yarnology like years ago, like 5 years ago, maybe longer. I have this, which I'm hoping is enough. I think it will be, because I have two. I have this little ball here, but then also this. And this is a Brew City yarn in one of their like Halloween fall colors. I can't remember. Burn pile? Leaf pile? It was like something with burning, I want to say. I think it was like burning leaves. I can't remember. But it was like an autumn color, and I absolutely, the socks I knit out of these are some of my absolute favorites. I loved working with this yarn. There was just something about this pair of socks that just like really grabbed me, and I love them. So anyway, enough to make him a pair. I'm pretty sure enough to make him a pair. And then this was a mini that I bought last year or the year before from, I think it was last year, from Molly of a Homespun House. And this is just a one-of-a-kind, one-off color. I'm not sure if she dyed it for a club or something, or it was just like a test, but it was in a big basket full of minis that she had at the Madison Knitters Guild last year. She vended at that, pretty sure that was last year, 2019, yeah. I don't think she vended the first year she was living in Wisconsin. But anyway, it doesn't matter. So yeah, I think those are gonna make really, really cute socks, and I'll have enough then to make the socks, put a square in my blanket, and then probably also have a little bit extra I have been saving them for my friend Amanda. Her mom is making her a granny stripe blanket because her mom loves to crochet and craft and knit and things like that, but she doesn't always have like projects that she wants to do. So Amanda has been sending her all of her like scraps, and her mom has just been whipping up this granny stripe blanket and like loves it, is addicted, as so many people are, to doing that. So she was saying that she is gonna run out of scraps to give her mom, and I'm like, I have tons. So I kind of eyeballed how much I was gonna give her, about 15 to 20 grams, I think, and maybe a little less than that in a lot of cases, in some cases, but enough to put like, you know, a few rows in, and wound those off, sent them out. I had this box chock full of little balls of yarn, so hopefully I have to actually text her to make sure. I sent that out in the beginning of June. I'm feeling like it should have gotten there by now. She doesn't live that far away. But I actually haven't talked to her in a few weeks, so I need to touch base and see how she's doing and see if she got the package. So anyway, I should have enough to add to that collection because I'm still kind of setting some aside, collecting some. I don't like throwing away when I have like a good chunk left. So yeah. All right, so the last project I have to talk about is a new one you haven't seen before, but I did talk about this one the last time. And this is the Pasture Blanket, which I am knitting for our baby. And there it is. So I am not quite halfway done. It's gonna be a good size like crib blanket, which, yeah, I think that's gonna be a really good size. Enough to sort of wrap him up in, keep him warm, but not like huge. So yeah, this pattern is really, really nice, kind of a lacy, apologies for any background noise. My husband has woken up from his nap. So anyway, that was, I think I caught myself doing some side eye or some rolling of the eyes just there on the camera, so I'm sorry about that. But anyway, this is done with a DK weight. It calls for 4 skeins. I am alternating between these two that are slowly losing their shape, or quickly losing their shape actually. They're about to like fall apart. They haven't started tangling yet, which is good, but that's probably not in the too distant future. This is Constellations, which is a colorway by Bad Sheep Yarn, and Bad Sheep Yarn is out of Alaska. Can't remember what city or what town, but yeah, I ordered this. It came within like 5 days, which is amazing, from Alaska. I was expecting it to take at least like a couple weeks. It was so fast. And I talk about this more in previous episodes, so I won't go into too much of it here, but yeah, nice kind of baby blue color, but it has some dark speckles, which I like. They're not too obvious in the blanket because the lace sort of takes over. You don't notice the speckles very much, but it does kind of have a nice like tonal variety of colors. It's not just a super flat blue, which I like. You can see the speckles and the tonality more down at the bottom. And like I said, the lace kind of distracts from that a little bit, but that's okay. And I have a Lock and Loo Progress Keeper on there. It blends in a little bit, but that is a chicory flower. And chicory is one of my favorite flowers, even though way too many people consider it a weed. I love it. It's the blue flowers that, like the stemmy blue ones that grow on the side of the road or on the side of a path or a gravel drive or anything like that. In the summertime, I love seeing them in the summertime. They just make me so happy. So I bought that from Katie of Lock and Loo last August, I believe. Yes. I keep thinking it was a way longer time ago, but all these shows and things I went to just happened last year. It just feels like, yeah, we've been home forever, and that couldn't have been just a year ago. But yeah, so I bought that from Katie last August at Stitches Midwest in Schaumburg, Illinois. And yeah, I was really glad. I think she only had like one left. I was really glad to get that from her. But yeah, so that's the last thing I've been working on. I've been trying to get in a few rows a day on that. I haven't been doing probably as much knitting in the last week or so as earlier this spring and summer. A lot of different things have sort of come up, and I don't have as much knitting time during the day now, but still trying to get some stuff done. I haven't done any work on my cozy memory blanket, although I have been longing to. This is the project that I think I've been drawn to the most, but I've been kind of not allowing myself to do it because I want to get these other things done first. So I have a long list of baby things I still want to make, and it almost feels like a waste of time to be putting in squares on my cozy memory blanket because I don't have that much time left until the baby arrives. So yeah, I'm trying to get all those things crossed off my list. I have one small acquisition to show you. I've been really good and I haven't bought any yarn, but since I bought the yarn for his baby blanket, but I did end up ordering a little something. Oof. This is from Lindsay of Simply Serving. Let me show you the box. Oh, it doesn't have her. It just has a thank you on there. But her card, I don't know where that is or if I threw it away. But I asked on on Instagram whether or not she was going to be bringing back her Hogwarts house cats, which she started making a while ago, and I've been longing for one since they came out, probably last year, I think. And she did an update on a lot of her older charms and kind of brought some back, I don't know, a few weeks ago or back in June, and like May and June. And I didn't order one then. And then I was just scrolling through Instagram and I just inquired. I said, are you gonna be bringing those back? And she's like, they're in the shop now if you want one. So I ordered this little guy. Isn't he adorable? So the reason why, I wonder if I block myself, if he will focus a little better, maybe? There we go. But okay, so the reason why I needed this, it's not just because I'm a Hufflepuff, which he does have his Hufflepuff scarf on. It's also because my cat growing up, Aggie, she was a calico, and I have a really, really soft spot for calico cats. So when I saw that the Hufflepuff cat was a calico, I just melted. I could not. It was just like meant for me. I'm sure, yeah, Lindsay, I'm sure it was. Everyone else is like, yeah, me too. I had a calico cat, no big deal. But anyway, I think she's adorable. Her name is gonna be Aggie. She's gonna be my little buddy in my knitting bag, and I couldn't be happier. So she came just a couple of days ago, and I'm so excited to finally have one. So thank you, Lindsay, for bringing that back into your shop after I inquired about it. Yeah, I'm really glad I ordered that. So anyway, I think that is about it. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching, and I hope you've had a great couple of weeks. I hope to be back in another couple of weeks when I have more knitting stuff to show you, some more projects that I've finished, and yeah, I really appreciate everybody who has subscribed to my channel and liked the videos. If you haven't done that yet, be much, much appreciated. It just helps kind of get my videos out there to other knitters and other people who have similar interests to you. But yeah, so thank you so much for watching. Do things that make your heart happy. Take care of each other, love each other, and I will talk to you all very soon. Bye.